So every year it grows and grows and grows, and we have more mementos of people that were loved and remembered year after year.
Welcome to Event Explorer, where we dive deep into the world's most fascinating festivals and meet the people who bring them to life. I'm your host, Daniel Roth. Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, is one of the oldest traditions in the Americas, dating back thousands of years to indigenous Aztec and Nahua rituals that honored the circle of life and death. Today, it's a vibrant mix of ancient ceremony and modern creativity, a celebration filled with color, food, and music that honors loved ones who've passed while celebrating the life that we share. You might know it from the movie Coco, which beautifully introduced the tradition to a new generation around the world. But the real experience, walking through the marigolds, hearing the music, seeing the families gather around the ofrendas, is something even more. The holiday is celebrated on November 1st and 2nd this year, though you'll find festivals all throughout late October and early November across the US and, of course, throughout Mexico. In this episode, we're in Mesa, Arizona to talk about Dia de los Muertos Festival, hosted by the Mesa Arts Center. I'm joined by Ginny Montano, the festival's committee chair, to talk about how this community event began and what makes it such a special part of Arizona's cultural landscape. If you enjoy stories like this, follow Event Explorer wherever you listen to podcasts and visit eventexp.org for more conversations and photos from festivals around the world. Okay, let's hear about how this 15-year tradition in the desert got started. Every fall, downtown Mesa bursts with color, music, and memories as the community gathers for the Dia de los Muertos Festival at the Mesa Arts Center. It's a weekend that honors loved ones who've passed while celebrating the beauty of life through art, food, and culture. Joining me today is Ginny Montano, committee chair for the festival and one of the people who helps bring this incredible celebration to life. Ginny, welcome to Event Explorer.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm familiar with Mesa and the Mesa Arts Center myself. I worked on a festival there a few, let's just say, years ago, but it's wonderful people. It's, especially this time of year, it's finally cooling off and everybody wants to be outside. It feels like air conditioning outside. It is also a time of remembrance. Obviously, Halloween, the Americanized tradition, and then also Dia de los Muertos, which I learned is also kind of a New World tradition, but one that is so strong in the Southwest and is very important to Mesa. So you've been involved with this festival for a little while now. And could you tell me a little bit about the history of it and when you first got involved?
Let me tell you that the Mesa Arts Center had inaugurated, I think, not even a year.
Mm.
They reached out to the Mexican consulate where I used to work. Me and a colleague of mine called Susana Ibarra, we were in charge of community affairs, which had to do everything with cultural aspects within the Valley of the Sun. And I remember it was Randy who reached out and he explained that the Mesa Arts Center had just been inaugurated and they wanted to reach out to the Hispanic community, within Mesa, initially Mesa. So he wanted to get together and kind of see what they could do to make this a place where they would all feel welcome. So after some time and getting together, we talked about the fact that any cultural institution can be intimidating to the Hispanic community. A lot of us, if you don't grow up going to libraries and ballets or things like that, you don't feel comfortable going to a place like that. And this was exactly what they wanted to do, have them feel welcome. It doesn't matter how big and impressive the place is, it's your home. We want you to come. So, of course, Day of the Dead is one of the most significant traditions for us in Mexico. And we thought that doing a festival would be one good way of creating this ambience of Hispanic heritage within the Mesa community.
How,
No,
yeah, amazing. So it was right away that they knew that they had to do something that, yeah, obviously you think you build it and people will come, but it isn't the case. So, yeah, how did this get built this first year? And how did you kind of draw the crowd out?
so it didn't matter how many things we put in, if you have to, try to make it um as vibrant and live as you can, adding the food aspect and the vendors aspect and everything. And the one way that we thought would be engaging for the community was to create an author contest. So it was really the author contest, the one that we promoted the most in a way of having the people come and share with us your representation of an author for the Day of the Dead. And of course, the first year it was pretty sad. I think we had like four people, which is fine. We used a small room and the contemporary arts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, way down there, because that's the space we had available at that time, and we could only accommodate like six of. So it was really because I mean the representations were not very serious like but at least we had a little bit of participation. The next year, of course, we wanted to make it bigger and better. And so Susanna and I came over to the girls that worked at the consulate and we started saying, you're gonna set up an altar, and you're gonna set up an altar, and you're gonna set up an altar. We need altars, and we're all gonna pitch in, and we're all gonna be setting up altars. So what we wanted was to kind of give an example
Hmm.
of what would be a traditional altar. Not everybody is aware of the fact that every little piece in an altar has a significance. So why we have candles and we have salt and we have water and we have food and why they're there and what they represent was part of the educational piece that we wanted to bring to the community and have them express it on their own. So it was slowly but surely that we started getting a little bit more participation, a little bit more food vendors. We were not waiting for them to come. Actually, we were actively calling and saying, "Hey, we got this going on. How about joining us?" And one of the good things that happened is that there's been another Day of the Dead celebration here in the valley for more years than us. They were here before we were. In one of the strategic things was to not put it on the same weekend.
Brilliant.
Well, they have the weekend closest to the Day of the Dead, and we have the weekend before. But that way, people didn't have to choose. It's like I go there and or I go to the other one. And after some time, we really discovered that this was really great for the vendors.
Mm.
Because vendors or mercado vendors, they don't want to have to choose, which one do I go because I would like to, be part of both of them. So that was really good after some time, and we try to make it as user friendly for the vendors, participants as we can. And it took a long time. We had a very good relationship with Food City. And I kept saying, we have to bring Food City, we have to bring them. It really took a few years for them to say, okay, we'll go because they're big, they're not interested in itty bitty events that are gonna draw, the
So
thousand people.
this is a in focus grocery store within the Mesa Phoenix area.
Exactly.
The world is tuning in because this is such a special event and a special celebration of a unique culture. That is something you're even saying Food City. And I remember, I went to graduate school in Phoenix, and this is somewhere where they're tossing the chilies, they're cooking the chilies outside of the grocery store. And I said, what is that? Now, I'm unfortunately, I don't know if there's a therapy group, but I'm addicted to green chilies. So I don't think it's the worst addiction. So to this point, it sounds like you really wanted to reflect the community, bring the community out into the central space to have them be participating. It's almost ironic that you're in this contemporary art gallery because these are pieces of contemporary art. It doesn't have to be, artist with a capital A. It can be something derived from the community. It's something organic and heartfelt that makes an impact on someone who goes and sees it. These altars that are, you know what, if you could, a little bit of an overview of what you thought needed to be or what you've seen needs to be in a Dia de los Muertos celebration. Like, kind of, what are these pieces? Ofrendas is one thing. And what are some of the other elements of the festival that you've made sure to keep there that become really part of the fabric of it?
Anytime you set up an ofrenda, there are several elements that go beyond the ofrenda itself. And one of them is music, and the other one is food.
Hmm.
So in Mexico, there are many places where families will go to the cemetery and spend the whole night there with music and having, dinner with them and consuming any kind of, food with them because they want to spend the night there. So if you cannot take away those two elements from this celebration. Food and music, they have to go hand in hand with it.
I see, I see. So now, okay, we talked about Food City and getting the vendors there. What's kind of on the menu, or what are you excited for this year to sample, and take part in while you're there? And who are these food vendors that are kind of representing, if there's anybody special?
Well, by now we have vendors that have been coming year after year.
Yeah.
We always try to make it, you know, diverse.
Mm.
We, although we love Mexican music and most of the people really like Mexican food, we really want to make it inclusive. So we have, pupusas and we have food from other countries. And we also have little things that are very representative of Mexico, which are like paletas heladas, you know, uh, and we have um, street corn that you call it.
Mhm.
Those little things for me are very representative of what it is to be at a feria in Mexico and what it is to experience, the different flavors and cater to people that, they might not be hungry for tacos, so you can have other things. We have cotton candy, which is, there's no big event without cotton candy. So little things like that to me, they all make it the event that it is right now,
Mm.
really.
And the other element that you mentioned there is music, and is this a lot sourced from local musicians, or are you bringing people in now from, all over the country, from Mexico itself?
We have done both. It all started with groups that were all local. It has always been a grassroots kind of participation. Mariachi Pasión, which is a mariachi group of all women, they were the first ones to be there with us, and they're still there with us to this day. So those kind of partnerships have been really important. They give us a continuation of the event. They have been a way to support those groups of mariachi or any kind of singing or performance that need some exposure in order to be known, in order to get better. So for us, is also a platform for them to reach out once they're good enough to actually present in public and get more following. This is all about our community and the people that are in the community and whatever expression they want to share with the participants.
So, yeah, as the festival's grown, the footprint has grown too. I saw the board that you're a part of is a dozen or so people. I mean, it is a lot. This is a real deal big festival. Can you tell us about the footprint a little bit and how it's expanded over the years?
A lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, the Mesa Arts Center leadership, they have always been on the lookout for key people in the community that they believe could bring something to the community. So all those people have been invited over the years to be a participant and bring a different, perception of what could be beneficial for the event. It has grown. Sometimes people don't remain in the committee, which is fine, but everybody has something to bring to the table,
Mm,
which is really incredible because some people are more involved in the grassroots aspect of it. Some people are more in the business aspect of it. So all of them actually bring something to the perception, organization, development, a little
sure.
bit. We invited also organizations and schools. So it's not just about how the families want to remember their loved ones, it's also about how the organizations want to be involved in their community. I mean, I remember Susan G. Komen was there, and it's an organization that deals with death.
Mhm.
unfortunately. So it was welcome,
Yeah.
and it was really good. We also have the children participating from different schools, and their authors are adorable. I mean, they are just to die for, and the teachers really put their efforts and their minds and their hearts in creating something that it's going to be also a learning opportunity for them. So when you see that you have businesses, organizations, families, and schools participating, this gives you an idea of who you're reaching.
Mm.
We had to have people from the learning community, school community. We had to have people from businesses. We had organizations because they're all participating and they all have something to say. And it's all welcoming. And it's thanks to their input that we try to be faithful to the notion that this has to be something that feels real and authentic.
Mm.
And just to give you an example, with our vendors, they have to send us a sample of what it is that they're bringing to the event. And one of the things that I've always been against is, the Chinese happy face next to the calavera. It has to be something that feels artistic,
Okay.
which most of them are. Artisans are bringing. And I don't care for the made in China kind of.
Sure, the trinkets and toys that kinda music festival or street festival. This is something that you want to represent the community and to draw out of the community, and I think that keeps it unique, right? And that keeps it authentic, as you're saying. And it also promotes kind of that craft, right? I mean, obviously, there's a place for that stuff at a state fair or at a carnival, but have you been able to see the growth of vendors, that you've been supporting in this way, artisans over the years? Are they coming back with more and more items or more people working with them?
Definitely. So as years went by and we started getting a little bit more significant, we started investing money in advertisements and inviting the television channels to come and do an interview. So slowly but surely it started growing, and by now the mercado is full. We have 50 vendors. So we couldn't accommodate any more if we wanted. And one of the things that we have been successful at doing also is separating Day of the Dead from Halloween, which a lot of people unfortunately call Day of the Dead the Mexican Halloween.
Mm.
And unfortunately, it's not. It's, nothing could be further from the truth. So these participants have been able to come year after year. They have also been able to grow because we see that they are bringing more merchandise. It's great to see because most of them it's a family event. They're mom and pop kind of stores or businesses, and you get to see really the mom, the dad, and the kids all being behind attending the booth.
And now you're almost maybe on a second generation, some people that came as children are now seeing this as really part of their own identity. It's probably there's a bit of a separation or displacement from Mexico. Phoenix culture is really a melting pot. I mean, everybody from around the world lives there. So even though you may say, "Oh, it's Southwest," there's got to be tons of Mexicans heritage, and you see it everywhere. It's like, it was built very quickly, so everything was kind of stucco and planned out. So even though there are a lot of people there and there's a lot of infrastructure, it doesn't necessarily represent the culture of the people that are living there. So you need events like this. Have you seen that impact grow even throughout the community? I imagine that the feeling of pride as this comes around every year really does make Mesa a place to go to if you want to celebrate your own culture.
Correct. And one of the things that we have seen is that the representation of things having to do with the dead have grown.
Mm.
I remember when I first got here, I didn't see anything that resembled calaveras or sugar skulls or anything of that nature. And now I'm starting to see it almost everywhere I go. And that's something to talk about because we have finally been able to bring the culture and make a stand with it, that this is part of who we are and we recognize it and want to celebrate it and want it to be part of our generate different generations. Which, by the way, I just you just made me realize that this is a second generation. Oh my god! But it is something that we've always tried to educate of what it is and be proud of it
Mm,
and embrace it. Don't confuse it, with Halloween or anything, or actually learn what it is, what it represents. And people have been really embracing it. And not only at Mesa, to be honest, I can see it all over the valley. We're a big population in the valley. So it should be that way. We should all be represented, based on our heritage and our culture.
mm. So let's just paint a picture real quick. If I'm a visitor, say I saw Coco, of the beauty, but I haven't been there myself. What should a visitor kind of go in and looking to do? And what are the kind of top hits that you would recommend that everybody participate in?
Well, this year in particular, they really have to go because we have a giant Catrina made by Mexican artisans that we have flown in from Mexico to create. So I haven't seen it. I'm gonna see it today, but what I was told is that it's like 20 feet tall. I mean, it's huge. It's made of paper mache. And these guys are really, really expert artisans. So that is one thing that I'm really looking forward
Tell me
to
a little
see.
bit about what that represents or what that is.
So these artisans are called cartoneros. And for the longest time in Mexico, we have had images represented in carton, which is paper mache, for various reasons. They are part of a lot of processions, and the tradition has been passed generation after generation. And they are painted in the very specific style. We wanted to represent that in a Katrina, which a Katrina is not really an alebrije. You just mentioned the movie Coco.
Hmm.
And do you remember that panther that
Yes.
had wings? Pita. I think her name was Pita.
Hmm.
Okay, so that being is an alebrije, which is a mixture of different animals. It doesn't particularly mean anything, that mixture of animals, but it's just something really wild.
It's
You
kind of
can't bring
sets the imagination going that does this exist? It's this mythical, it adds a mysticism or a mythicalness. Oh, how cool.
Yes. So
How creative.
it is. And the alebrijes have been done in Mexico for many, many years. And the way it's painted is very specific.
Mm.
So the two artisans that we're bringing from Mexico have created this giant Catrina. We thought that it would be something that would really stand out. And they also are providing workshops for people to come. They will be giving a piece and they will learn how to paint it in an alebrije style. So that's really something I'm really looking forward to because we don't have them often. It's
I see.
few now. As far as music and entertainment, there's going to be music and entertainment all throughout the event from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Saturday and 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Sunday. It's going to be nonstop. We have several stages where you will find one thing or another playing, either ballet folklorico, which we have more than one, or music on one or the other stages. We have walkers. They're always dressed in a Katrina style, which is really cool. Kids really like taking pictures with them. Of course, the mercado, it's huge. 50 vendors is a lot. We are going to have the exhibition of the Alfred contest. We had 20 participants, and we finally grew out of the room that we were initially given. And it's incredible because back then we would struggle to get 10 authors to participate in the contest. And now having 20 of them and being full is just wonderful. The centerpiece will always be our community author because what we want is for people to come and bring something that represents their loved ones that are no longer with us and set it there and share it with everybody. All these little things are going to be put away and they're going to be brought out the year after. So every year it grows and grows and grows, and we have more mementos of people that were loved and remembered year after year. So there's so much really that gets me excited. There is so much to do. It doesn't matter if you get there at 10 o'clock in the morning. Believe me, it's going to take you a few hours to enjoy really the whole festival.
And it's participatory. You know, a lot of people think of a festival as something you just go to watch or you just go to eat something, but really this is a meaningful event every year, as you're saying, that people can honor recent passing of a loved one or friend and then continue to celebrate that memory every year with your festival and with beautiful art and music. And it turns sad memory into a pretty happy, a very, a happy celebration and turns the remembering someone who's passed into something that can put a smile on your face, turn a tragedy into something that is warm and reminds you that they were part of your community, you're part of the community, helps people give back, which is something that you've been doing as well. And the Art Center too. I think the Art Center as a kind of home base and a partner for this just must really kind of bring it up too. Mesa Arts Center is one of those cultural organizations that doesn't they elevate everybody around them. They don't want the basic effort. They want you to bring your best. So I imagine has Mandy who introduced us, has that influence just been enriching over the years for the festival?
Absolutely. I mean, the fact, the leadership that we have, the fact that this is such a great and it's very representative of the Mesa community, and the place itself is amazing. I can't speak enough of what the place and the people there mean to me. Really, I can't.
I love it. I love to hear it. Well, I just want to thank you so much for sharing this holiday and this celebration and this festival. I have so much to give to everyone's lives throughout the US, North America, South America. And really, it's an organic thing that hopefully spreads throughout the world, even just as you're saying, the artistic style and adds so much and is so cool. I mean, it's just at its face value, is just such a cool, obviously organic and stylistic expression of people. And it's something that, as soon as you see your sugar skull, some 8-year-old is there eating some corn, sees it, they're probably sketching out their own version of a sugar skull right there. It's just that fun. It's like you would tell your kid to stop drawing skulls until you actually realize that, like, what a celebration, how deep culturally this is, that your work and the work of the committee and Mesa Arts Center really keeping this tradition going and making it bigger than ever. There's no reason it's going to stop. I think by the end, you're going to be going 2 weekends, or you're going to be, 100 vendors, I think, eventually here, have your own building. Who knows? I think it's going to happen. So I just want to remind everybody, and we'll get this out, super fast. It's coming up here. So everyone get out either this year if you made it, or, next year in Mesa, Arizona, admissions free, right? And we've got live performances. We've got great food. So check it out. I'll share pictures, as they come out, and video as they come out, and just keep pushing everybody I know, at least in Phoenix. And I think it's worth the trip, for a weekend of art, entertainment, and celebration of kind of the most important things in life. So, Ginny, I want to thank you so much for joining today and sharing the story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
The Dia de los Muertos Festival at Mesa Arts Center is more than a weekend of music and art. It's a reminder of what connects us. Every altar, every candle, and every song tells a story about love, memory, and the people who shaped our lives. What started as a small community celebration has become one of the Southwest's most meaningful gatherings, blending tradition and creativity in a way that feels both deeply personal and universal. And whether you celebrate in Mesa, Mexico City, or your own hometown, Dia de los Muertos invites us all to pause, remember, and celebrate the beauty of life. If you'd like to see more from this episode, visit eventexp.org or follow us at Event Explorer Podcast on your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on social for updates, behind-the-scenes clips, and upcoming guests. As always, thank you for listening, and happy exploring.